Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com back for another Pittsburgh Steelers prediction, talking about Steelers Bills Week 14 here on Sunday night at Buffalo. Big test for Pittsburgh, obviously coming off their first loss of the season against Washington football team. Can the Steelers bounce back? Here are some things to look for Sunday night's game. Starting with the Buffalo offense, and obviously things start with quarterback Josh Allen, who's really had a breakout year. I'm not 100% sure what the main reason is for Allen having a tremendous season. I'm sure the supporting cast around him helps in just the maturation process. But overall, it's undeniable of how good of a season that Josh Allen's having, completing nearly 70% of his passes, 26 touchdowns this year. That's already second by a Bills quarterback in single season history, only behind Joe Kelly, and Allen's probably going to surpass that by season's end. Taking care of the football better, fewer sacks overall. He's like a young Ben. He's still, a big, strong, be able to extend the play, mobile when he needs to be. Probably more of a runner than what Ben was early in his career. There's some more design runs. Obviously, the era in which Allen plays in helps with the mobile quarterbacks and having some of those design runs that Ben didn't have back in 2004. A guy that can sneak the football if it's third and one, fourth and one, you better be able to plug up those A gaps and B gaps, or the dude's going to sneak the football, and it's hard to stop him at 6'5", 237. So a really strong arm, vertical thrower. His accuracy again has improved greatly, and he has a lot of good weapons around him. Stephon Diggs, they traded for him in the offseason. He is tied for the NFL lead with Keenan Allen with 90 receptions this year. Cole Beasley's a really trusty slot receiver who's done a lot of good work, but he's also created some big plays too. He's got, I think, over 11 yards per catch this season, so he's not just the prototypical third down slot type receiver either. And then Gabriel Davis from Central Florida is a guy that kind of reminds me of Cam Sims in the sense of the big play vertical threat that we don't know a lot about. We haven't talked a whole lot about, but we're going to be discussing it the way we discussed Cam Sims coming off the Washington game. Now the body types are different. Davis is not as big of a dude as Sims was for Washington, but he's actually the team leader in touchdown receptions with five, and he's averaging over 16 yards per catch, which is fifth in all of the NFL. So he's kind of been their key deep threat, which has been needed with John Brown out. Remember, Brown last year had that big catch against Pittsburgh to basically beat them last season, late in the year, where they got a lot of pressure on Duck Hodges. We'll talk about that in a second. So Davis has become that vertical substitute. And obviously, for the Steelers defense, there's injury. No Joe Hayden, no Robert Spillane. Very, very unlikely to have Vince Williams in this one. So Avery Williamson is your really lone dude at inside linebacker. Marcus Allen should play as well. We'll see if UG3 gets activated in time for Sunday night's game. But Pittsburgh obviously hurting and taking a lot of body blows with some key pieces going down the last couple of weeks, and so we'll see how Pittsburgh responds to Buffalo's offense. And again, Buffalo, they will get some trickery as well. Watch out, 2nd and 8, red zone type stuff. They'll throw some receiver passes to their receivers. Isaiah McKenzie and Beasley have touchdown passes this year. Both of those came on 2nd and 8, so watch out for a little bit of trickery in the red zone. And then a quick note for the run game: Devin Singletary, their lead guy, but Zach Moss, when he's been healthy, has been a goal line type back, and both guys I think are pretty talented running backs. For the Bills' defense, their run defense has not been as stout. They are a 4-3 front, which has presented more problems for Pittsburgh, generally speaking, in the run game over the years. Now, any defense has presented problems with Pittsburgh's run game recently, so the front maybe matters less, but that is something to note. But their run defense has struggled. They're 27th in yards per carry allowed, I think 26 in touchdowns allowed. So hopefully you can run on these guys. Getting Marquise Pouncey back will certainly be beneficial, an upgrade over J.C. Hassenauer, obviously. But there's no guarantee, and hopefully that James Conner, also returning in this game, will be able to get things back on track. But certainly need to see more efficiency and better situational running the football, whether you're talking third and fourth and short, goal line. The red zone woes have been really bad the last 2 weeks. Steelers 2 of 7 in the red zone the past 2 weeks, and then not being able to finish out games with the run has been a potential issue as well. And certainly you want to see them do better with situational football. The Bills' pass rush was certainly something that got to Pittsburgh last year. Sean McDermott, Jim Johnson disciple, a lot of DB type blitzes. They're getting sacks from a lot of places. They have 30 as a team. Nobody has more than five, so they're getting it from DBs and off-ball linebackers. AJ Klein actually leads them with 5 sacks this season. They have guys like Mario Addison up front. Jerry Hughes has been around the league forever and still getting pressure, but it's not coming from just one guy. So it's hard to sit there and say that you just got to take away for example, when you play Cleveland, you say if you can take away Miles Garrett, easier said than done. But if you take him away, then you kind of subdue their pass rush. It's hard to do that versus Buffalo. But I'm just curious to see. Obviously, you didn't have Ben last year. How well does Ben and Pouncey adjust to some of the blitz and pressure looks that Buffalo has, and will Buffalo blitz as much? The key that defenses are discovering is that to not blitz Ben, to drop guys into coverage, to anticipate the quick throws, and we'll kind of see how that cat and mouse game plays. But overall, with the front seven, obviously you can run on this group, but Pittsburgh, has not done that against teams they should run on. Whether they were talking about Jacksonville or the Bengals or Cowboys, we've said that story before, so we'll see what happens. In the secondary, the guy you don't want to throw to is Tre'Davious White. He's got 3 picks this season. All three have come in the last 4 games. Had a big end zone goal line interception against the 49ers on Monday night. And so that's a guy that plays a lot of man coverage. He can travel if need be. I don't know if he will, but they run a lot of split coverages where they may play zone away from White, but with White to White side, they'll play man coverage. And in what I call meg coverage, man everywhere he goes, where they'll go ahead and just make sure that he's locking down somebody and force the ball somewhere else. And certainly you want to stay away from him whenever possible. Maybe attack more like the Levi Wallaces of the world. They got good safety play. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Poyer leads the team with 100 tackles this year. They do a good job disguising their coverages and rotating safeties. And again, they will bring some pressure packages with their DBs as well. So it's a defense that's well coached. It's a well coached team overall. Whether you're talking Brian Dable, their offensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, Sean McDermott. It's a really good head coach. They're just a pretty sound team. So certainly a lot to be worried about when talking about the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't begrudge anybody for picking Buffalo in this game. Ultimately, though, I did go with Pittsburgh, and I'm betting that more people in the comments section will pick Buffalo in this one. That's totally, I think, rational. But I have Pittsburgh winning this one 26-23. And the big reason why is that you've seen the last 2 weeks some really talented defenses in Baltimore and Washington give Pittsburgh's offense fits. And I just don't think Buffalo's at that level, especially up front. Washington had the great front four with all those first round picks that especially held up against the run. So I just don't see Buffalo's defense quite as strong in this one. So I have the Steelers winning this one 26-23, but obviously anticipating a close game. Close games could go either direction. Pittsburgh's the less healthy team right now, missing some key pieces on the road. So yeah, there's a lot to worry about, a lot to contest, and certainly a loss here would heighten the concern to lose to fall to 11-2. You have to assume the KC's not going to lose again this season, and that would obviously put in jeopardy the number one seed in the lone bye week in the AFC. So big game this week against a very talented Buffalo team, and we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who are you picking to win this game and why? And let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you soon.